So hello, Gail. This is your recording for your harp lesson 1-to-1 on the 20th of January 2022. And we haven't even talked about what we're going to 100% focus on yet. So let's do this. So what are you thinking? What are your goals for today?
I've been thinking about that a lot. Well, actually, I want to thank you for having this, late in January.
Okay.
We had some travel and, which got canceled, but I know. But I also wanted to give myself some time to kind of reflect and think about things. So thank you for that, first of all. Yeah. So in terms of my goals, and I kind of pulled up my a document that I kind of prepared for today.
Sure.
So I guess if I were to look 10 years out,
yeah.
Can I kind of give you what that looks like 10 years out?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to read it. I didn't edit it, so it may not come out coherently. But I guess I would envision having a repertoire of songs and melodies at the ready that I could easily improvise on by adding, robust things, sparkle, intros, codas, underlying loops, and other improvisations. I guess I'd like to be competent and comfortable in, creatively blending snippets and, different songs for various occasions,
right.
Online and, in-person performances. Not so much for a grand audience or anything like that, but I mean, friends, family, if someone has a function, something like that. And I'd also like to find some regional folks to maybe there's a little group that can play with.
Lovely, yes, amazing. Okay,
yeah.
There's more on there.
Let me see. I guess I want to feel excited and grateful for the journey,
Okay.
And amazed at myself for how far I've come.
Amazing. This is all fabulous. Okay, so well, first of all, I love that vision, and that's totally doable. I totally 100% believe you can do that. I would also say that, the play your harp out that we're doing now, I'm talking about thriving at your level. You can do those things right now. I 100% believe that. And the fact you already know, introduction, coda, improvisation, taking snippets, using them, adding them to tunes and things, the fact you already know all those words and basically how they function means that you can do that straight away. And it's just that in 10 years time, you'll be able to do it 10 years better. I think that I love that that's a vision that you're going to look in at 10 years time, and hopefully you'll feel comfortable, doing it then. Whereas if I made you do this right now and go, right, let's do it all right now, you might be icky about it. I know that, but the more you do it as well, I'm sure you've heard the saying, fake it till you make it, and things like that. It's getting out there and doing it. So I would absolutely encourage you 100% to try and find somebody to play with locally if you can, or regionally. I don't know quite what that means for you, but whether it's a 2-hour trek to play, but it's so powerful playing with one or two or four other people, because you get that amazing you get the momentum, don't you, of having to practice and prepare for the next rehearsal. You get the support of the fact that it's not all down to you. Every single note's not your responsibility, so you get that kind of, if you knock one over, or or you forget something, or you're late, then the group will carry, and vice versa, so you'll be able to carry the group for someone else as well. So I mean, it's one of the things I've always sort of said to people, is go and join a choir, go and join a harp ensemble, is being great ways of becoming a more fluent and comfortable musician. So yes, definitely. And I would just go for that straight away if you think you can, because you've got apart from anything else, you've got the Dynamic Harps Music. You can just go in there and print out, there must be like 25 tunes now that you can just download and have. They're there, and they're all layered up. Some of them are easier than others, and you can just print off 3 and say, right guys, we're going to do this, and what do you reckon? So you have my permission to do that. That will definitely be brilliant for your goal. And as far as everything that you've just said is totally achievable. I would probably sit down and write a list of tunes, a wish list. So I don't know whether you've done that already.
You know what? I do have certain things in mind, and I've also been thinking, okay, what tunes do I gravitate to, right?
Sure.
And so they tend to be gospel,
Lovely.
But contemporary gospel.
Brilliant.
Yeah, some of your traditional ones like Amazing Grace and things
Okay.
like that, but
Yeah.
more, more of the more recent gospel tunes,
Lovely. Okay.
as well as some pop,
Lovely.
jazz,
Lovely.
and blues. I
Okay.
tend to grab it. I love Elton John. I love the
The niche then.
Beatles.
Amazing.
Yeah,
You've got your
yeah.
niche already, which is awesome because, often people really aren't sure. So that's fantastic. I love that. So, yeah,
Okay.
well, definitely. I mean, I would sit there and, I can think of, so many times in my life when I sat down and done massive bubble diagrams of things, but, you could put, like me playing a concert comfortably in the middle, a picture of you or whatever, and then draw some lines out and put the different genres that you're thinking of, and then put some songs, off them, spearing off them that you think that you would love to do. And then maybe find in each of those subsets you've just said, I bet that, well, we've already done a blues together. I know we have. You've just mentioned
Yes.
Amazing Grace. I'm not sure what else have I done. I don't know that, but I'm sure you've done jazz probably with Deborah. So,
Yes.
maybe just find one tune in each of those, each of your desired genres that you can play already a bit.
Mhm.
And then I thinking this is thinking really of Deborah's work, that the work that Deborah did with me, but she got me to put together a show, so this is all her knowledge really, but she got me to put together a show, and she got me to, I think what I did was I got all the pieces that I wanted to play, and I put them in a folder, whether I
Okay.
could play them or not, just put everything into a file of what I really wanted to do. And then I stripped everything back just to lead sheets. So even if it was quite notey, even if I really wanted to learn the original, the original of like a big classical piece, I still stripped it back to lead sheets to try and really, this is how I learned to memorize really, but to strip it back so that I could really understand how the tune was working. And that's kind of how Deborah teaches, isn't it? And she's
Yeah.
marvelous in that way. And so, you could do that. You could make some, even if it's, even something quite complicated, simplify it down to its absolute basics: melody, bass line, and then, listen to the music over and over so that your ears, like we did in pop. You did quite a lot of pop with Pizzazz, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, I have several more to go.
Okay, that's
I have
fine.
several more to go. Yeah.
That's fine. And you can come in again when we do it live, because this year, can't you? So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But in pop with Pizzazz, we do. Oh, I've lost my train of thought. Sorry. Oh no. Oh, I really have lost my train of thought. Oh no. Oh no.
Where there's an Adele, kind of
Tell
fake,
cover.
if you
Yeah.
will. Yeah. I know that. I remember that one. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's what I was going to say, was that I show the idea of stripping out to melody and bass, and then how we, you listen to the music by ear, and then you start filling it in for yourself, and the fact that, again, that lead sheet can become your improvisation basis, can't it? Because you
Right.
nick the chords, and if you're not so fluid in I mean, actually, you're very creative. Some of the homeworks and times you have played for me, you played some quite creative. I think it was at the I can't remember which one it was. It was level 2 start heart. You did something, I'm sure you did something where you did loads of creative parts, but
Okay.
I know that you
Okay.
can do that. So it's
All
kind of
right.
thinking, finding out what your superpower is, isn't it, and adding it in. But those pop things that we do, where I talk about layering and looping and everything, I think
Yeah.
might be a really useful way of you to think of all the pieces. So if you take any of your pieces, simplify them out, and then start adding layers back in, because then you'll understand the harmonic structure. You can play the melody with flow and feeling and all the stuff that we know
Yeah.
that like makes it from the heart, sort of thing. And I think that would be maybe a useful thing for you to do, for you to be able to do it right now. This is what I'm going on to say, because I want you to feel like everything you just said to me, I am absolutely convinced that if you set yourself a goal to play for, say you invite 5 friends around for a tea party, okay,
Right.
or a wine
Right.
party, whatever's your bag, I don't know.
I like the wine. I like tea
That's
too, but
fine.
wine sounds more fun.
So you're inviting them around for wine and cocktails, whatever it might be, and you're just saying, right, I'm going to play them 5 songs in 3 months' time, but you're going to do them maybe in the way that you've just described to me. You're going to put an introduction, you're going to put an improvisation middle, you're going to put a coda on, you're going to maybe decide that one of them you're going to extend on the fly, you're going to improvise literally off the cuff, so that you're kind of giving that moment of, I'm going to let go and anything could happen,
Right.
and so that you're starting that journey and showing yourself that, yes, in 10 years' time you're going to keep building and building and working on these things, but also convincing yourself that you can do it, you can thrive at your level right now. So I
Okay.
I think that would be wonderful thing to do, if you can face it, would be to set yourself a goal. Because if you're anything like me at all, in this, once that date's set, you then will work to it. Whereas if there's no date, we tend to kind of think, well, I better practice this week, and it's like, so you do a bit of practice, but without that absolute, like that line in the sand,
Right.
the friendly bunch of people that are just going to not, they don't mind, they've got your back, they won't, if you sat there and just did raspberries at them instead of playing, they would still love you. That's the kind of people you want to do that for, maybe the first time. But you could definitely pull that out, definitely.
Okay.
I'm sure
Okay.
of that. I'm
Oh,
absolutely
well, thank you. Okay, that's encouraging. And I also hear you talk about the, going back a little bit, you were talking about a visual. You were talking about, the circles with the different genres. And that's a good visual, even if I were to draw something up like that for myself, just to kind of, keep that front and center, and maybe put the timeline on it, as you mentioned. Because if someone were to ask me, okay, play me something right now, my favorite song, I cannot say that there is a song that I feel comfortable with sitting down and just playing. Not, and I think that that's in part because I'm absorbed in lessons, obviously behind, right?
not behind.
I think you designed. I think you designed it that way.
No, you're perfectly where you are, and you're just waiting for the next nugget to take it on board. So the things are arbitrary. My courses dates are arbitrary, aren't they? And when you get the information, it doesn't matter. What matters is your journey. But I know it can be a little bit distracting knowing that you've got all this stuff coming at you, and so you kind of just have to be comfortable about that. But yes.
And kind of figuring out or balancing for myself. I guess I struggle with this, is the lessons, staying up on the lessons, practicing, including technical exercises, and then learning a tune that I'm interested in just falls by the wayside. You know what I mean?
I definitely do. And I mean, so it is hard to put everything in to our daily practice, and so we know that we just need to be comfortable. We're not going to do all these things all the time, totally comfortable in that. There are these aims, and we know that there's that we can shape a practice really nicely, that we can sit down and warm up so our fingers are nimble, and then we can do some some technical things that we want to be able to then pull out the bag and the pieces later. Then we might go into an individual piece and focus on things. But I think maybe, I don't know how much of that you're doing, and it doesn't matter if it's not all happening all the time. That's an aspiration, but I mean, goodness me, I have so many aspirations in life that I barely ever meet. It's just life, isn't it?
Me too.
And so but we get along, don't we? By we bump along, and so anyway, what am I trying to say? The sorry, back to my train of thought's gone again. Come on, Jenny. Sorry, lesson, practicing, getting to the point. So at the end of your practice, sorry, Gail, I'm getting there again. Maybe even whatever you're doing every day, even if it's that you're only doing 5 minutes and you're just playing, a little scale because it's good for your fingers. Put a treat at the end, like, have a piece of candy at the end, put a tune that you love at the end. Because if I'm teaching a one-to-one lesson, the way I will shape a lesson is, we'll warm up, we will do something technical, we will do 1 or 2 pieces, and then I make sure that we finish on something the student can do really well, because I want them to walk out the room feeling great. Now, I don't always do that for myself when I'm playing at all. I will leave the room going, but I know that I shouldn't. I know I should just play something fun to finish with. And so I encourage you to do that as well, because if you think about it, even if you're only practicing 3 times a week, if you're playing something that you find fun at the end 3 times a week, even if it was the same tune every time, then probably in a month's time, you'd be able to play that tune really confidently, wouldn't you? Because it would have been your kind of go-to, read a book at the end, have a treat at the end.
I don't know, might be 2 or 3 months for me, Shelley.
Okay. I'm sure that's not true. So that would be good. Have you got your play performance book? Have we talked about having a play book? Have you heard me chat about that?
Favorites, of putting favorites. I have started that, yes. But I find I have a couple of fake books. I know not yesterday, but last week, I know everyone kind of shared
Yeah.
their books. So I think I have a couple of fake books. Like someone did the romantic tunes or something.
Oh,
I think
yes.
it was Sylvia Woods. I
Yes.
have that, and I have some other fake book. I don't remember what the name of that is,
Okay.
but I find that they do not have more contemporary songs that I enjoy. So I'm thinking that I may need to go on music notes. I think you recommended, and I forget that.
Music. I use Music Notes and Sheet Music Direct. I use a lot.
Yes, and to really find the ones I'm looking at,
Yes.
or interested in.
Okay, so so that would in my head go into your want to perform folder. But what I'm talking about is having another folder where you have tunes you can already play. And as you've said to me already tonight, you said, I haven't got a tune I could just sit down and play to my friends if they asked me. It may be that the first thing you have to put in there is Shelley's pentatonic improvisation.
Right, right.
So you just like draw yourself, get a piece of white paper and write, only play the white notes, do a tone, improvise, and so that if somebody came and you could say, well, actually I've been so busy studying, you wouldn't believe, oh, aren't I good, but I will play you some notes, and if someone's not heard the harp up close before, their jaw's going to drop whatever you do. So
Okay.
this is Richard's my husband's into bats, and so he is a bat expert, and so he goes and does training courses about bats, and sometimes bats, yeah, as in flapping bats, and sometimes he'll go and do something, he'll come home and it's like, oh, nothing came out. We only got the common pipistrelle bat come out. And I always say, yes, but to the people who haven't seen the bats before, they're like, wow, there's this amazing bat. Yes, to you, it's just like, oh, not this common pipistrelle that we have everywhere. And it's the same on the harp. If you sit down, you say, well, rather than saying, oh no, I can't play to you, I haven't got anything ready. Actually, if you think of it more of like your minstrel's duty to sort of pass on the sharing experience, even if you just sit down and do some lovely glissandos, that person, it's the common pipistrelle bat. It's like, wow, the harp can do glissandos. So I think that can sometimes help our mindset as well, is just to remember the bat. And so Rich and I always say this to each other now whenever either of us are thinking, oh, but I didn't do this and I wanted to do that. We're like, yes, but it's the think of the bat. It's, So anyway, so I encourage you to find something that can go into a folder that you can already do.
Okay.
And I mean, you've worked with Deborah as well, and she's incredible at giving chord progressions, isn't she? So maybe you've done a chord progression with her that you love. And again, just a white sheet of paper and just, a blank piece of paper to write down, the 1625, whatever it might be.
Right.
So you've got it there in a folder so that and then, like I said about the practicing, make that folder, then you pick up that folder at the end and you go like, right, which treat piece, which am I going to play that I can already do, but without any pressure on yourself. And sorry, I'm now going to verbally spout at you, but the other thing that I'm also thinking in my head is this performance idea, and I'm going to talk about this in the course I can't remember the name of ever that I've called something like Prepare, Plan, Perform. I can't remember.
Okay.
But the next one that we're doing after in February.
The next immersion. Okay.
The next 6-week course. The next 6
weeks. Okay.
I just can't remember. It was Plan, Prepare, Perform, I think, or something like that. But
something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the different modes of practicing as well. So like you're saying, oh, well, I don't always fit everything in, and there's, try not to feel pressured about it. Obviously, I don't want you to feel pressured about it, but sometimes when we're practicing, we are doing the nitty gritty, aren't we? Like the everyday exercises from my school. The idea of doing loop practice, taking out the bits that we're finding hard, doing left and right, working out all the geography of everything, shapes, harmony, whatever it might be. And then there is another stage, which is that we are going into performance practice mode, where we need to put on the poker face of not grimacing if we make a mistake, for starters, the keeping the flow going and the performing, whether it's to a house plant, to a bird out the window, to the cat on the corner, so that we make ourselves go through a piece, whatever happens. so that
Okay.
you get used to that mode of not giving in, really, determination to get from start
Yeah.
to finish. Because then when somebody, even if very informally, comes into your house and is like, oh wow, that's a harp, will you play to me, then you know that whatever happens when you try and play your tune, that you're going to get from A to B, to the end, because you've made yourself do it 100 times. And this is where those 3 strands that I go on about all the time,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
I think, are powerful. Because you can read music, you can
Right.
improvise, you can play by ear, I think. Can you? Oh yeah, that's why you're doing that.
I
Okay, I'm
think so.
100% sure on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that's just one to nurture. You've got 2 that you
Mhm.
can do. um but I believe that once you can do all 3, then you can save yourself from anything. Because if
Okay.
you can't find your place in the music, but by ear, then your ear will tell you which direction your hand needs to go in. And then if the ear
Right.
lets you down, then the improvisation will bring you back in, and help you get
Right.
back to where you were on the music and things. So
Okay.
yeah, so nurturing those. But yeah, definitely, that folder of things you want to do, great, but a folder of things you can do right now. And I would
I like
encourage
that.
you to find 3 things that you can do right now. And I did this with a student the other day, and she actually chose a piece that she'd learnt in like week 3 of learning the harp. So she went right
Okay.
back to the beginning. And it's not that it needs to be hard, it's literally about something you can sit down and play comfortably. There's a
Okay.
piece of music I learned when I was about 14. And if I'm ever feeling I wouldn't, well, no, I have even done this in concerts, but I wouldn't do it in a really high profile concert, but I've certainly done it in like certain places. There's a piece that it's some Mozart variations that they sound fancier than they are, but they're just really
Okay.
comfortable for me because I learned them when I was really young and I remember them. And so it's just they sit comfortably. So if I'm ever unsettled, it's something I go to. And so
Nice.
it doesn't matter how simple it is. What matters is that you're comfortable, because it's that, again, you've heard Deborah talk about this, like musical expression, and sharing yourself is so much more important than being fancy and playing lots of notes. And this harp school that that you're in with me, I'm always giving you the next thing to think about, but it's
Yeah.
equally as important. I'm sort of trying to satiate the hunger that people have to want to kind of reach for the next thing,
Right.
but we also have to thrive where we are as well,
Right.
and be comfortable
Yeah.
with that. So yeah.
Yeah. You were mentioning Deborah, and I have not taken full advantage of what she has to offer
Okay.
because I knew that technically I needed to, you know,
Brush up on
know a
a few
bit
things.
more before
Okay.
doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, I am hoping to complete what was just started this week. So I'm hoping I can kind of stay up with that. And I think it's Strings of Passion.
Oh God.
And
Oh, perfect.
yeah,
For the concert
yeah,
course as well. It's
yeah,
absolutely, Strings of Passion are amazing and so moving. So that would be
right.
amazing. I mean,
So,
all this is tied. I mean, when Deborah and I, when I originally set up Start Heart, we were talking about the fact, I was going to teach the foundations and get people going, and then she has this like really powerful sort of school for teaching expression and everything. And so,
right.
you're absolutely right. You've kind of done the on ramp, haven't you, to be able to sort of take all that on board. When,
Hopefully,
of course,
hopefully I'm good enough.
yeah.
I may need to go back around again. I don't know.
And we do. This is the spiral learning, isn't it? It's also
True.
totally. You were saying at the beginning about enjoying the journey and
Yes.
loving the journey, and that's absolutely it. I think you've heard me say this before, I'm sure, but as an adult learner, we're so often we can tell, we know when we hesitate, we know when we've made a slip, we know it wasn't amazing when we finish. Whereas if you're
Right.
6 and your teacher goes, that was incredible, and you go, oh, thank you. You might have a niggling doubt, but you're like, but they say it's great, so okay. In general,
I'll take that. Yeah.
yeah. And I think as an
Yeah.
adult, we're always like, well, she says that, and that's fair enough, but, and there's always a
Yeah.
but, isn't there? And
True.
if we can if we can try and be kinder to ourselves on the journey and enjoy it, and just accept that we are not, a beginner playing a grade 1 piece, even if they play it perfectly at their level, is not going to be like, I was going to say Catherine Finch, I don't know if you've heard of her, but like, one of our top most famous harpists in the UK, playing the grade 1 piece. It would still sound better when she played it than when the grade 1 person played it, even if they played it perfectly, just because she's got all those other years of experience on top, isn't it?
Right.
So we have to just accept that it's a spiral journey, and as an adult, try and remember the inner child, isn't it, and be kind to yourself as well.
Exactly. And embrace that, hey, we all have to continue to be beginners
Yes.
and, just kind of progress from there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I haven't heard of the harpist you just mentioned. However, Amy Turk, I
Yes.
have seen
She's
man, she looks very stern when she plays, but she sounds great. Yeah.
I think because of what she's doing, she has to concentrate like absolute. I think it's her concentrating phase. I did a pop workshop. We co-taught a pop workshop together once, and
Okay.
she's not strict. She's really nice.
Okay, well, I love her playing. I love her music as well. Yeah.
She does workshops. I think she's done some percussion workshops because she tried to teach me her percussion, and I she's done so much work on it. Whilst I kind of get the concept of what she's doing, I can't teach it the way obviously like she does. So if you like her percussive style, then you can probably pick up some workshops from her at some point too.
Well, if she ever does something online, please let me know.
I'll let you know. Yes.
Yeah.
I should get her to guest in the pop course. I just haven't quite got round to getting people to guest yet. It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? I've got to
well, I mean, you have such a wealth of knowledge, that you already embody. So I mean, we're in good shape. So, yeah.
Going back to the spider diagram I was talking about,
yes,
about the ideas for your song choices and sort of kind of getting some ideas on there. I was also thinking, at the beginning you talked to me about this 10-year goal, didn't you? And I actually wonder whether it would also be worth doing it with like 10 things off, or 2, 4, 6, 8 years off, and saying what your concert would look like this year in 3 months time for your friends. I'm just going to say that one more time. I'm just going to keep seeding that idea now. And what it would look like.
Okay, I get it.
And what it would look like in 2 years time, 4 years time, 6 years time, 8 years time, 10 years time, so that you are kind of just getting that imagery in your head. Because I'm sure that the fact that you started this conversation by saying, can I show you what 10 years out looks like, says to me that you know about mindset stuff and you've done some work on that yourself. So that image imagining, but also just making it alive right now that you could do it, I think is important. When you talked about coders, introductions, improvisations, if you got the harp there, are you willing to play tonight?
If I just have to turn it around, I could.
Do you have a lead sheet there of anything, or shall I?
I may have. I printed out a couple of samples of Amazing Grace.
Okay.
I could,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
At least the right hand I ought to be able to muddle through.
I just want to show you that how you can do what you described instantly. That's all.
Okay, let me flip this around then.
Okay, cool. Okay. Which key have you got it in there, Gail?
I can do either the E flat or C, but I don't know what this piece is in. It may be in a C. It doesn't readily say.
Does it have? Oh, is it just chords and lyrics, or has it got the key signature at the beginning?
No, it actually no. This is a really simplistic.
Do you want to flash it up at me? Go on, give me a peek.
Give you a peek?
Yeah,
can you see?
Okay, that's in G because you got the F sharp.
Okay. Then I would need my wheel to kind of figure that out. I don't know.
That's okay. So the when you see that key signature there with that sharp, if you didn't know what the key was, you don't need to worry about your wheel. This is the good news. If you look at it, if you look at where that where the sharp is sat, if there was a note there instead of the sharp, which note would it be?
If it were not the sharp, if it were a note there?
Yeah, if someone had drawn a note on that line.
Oh, it would be an F.
There you go. So now you don't need to memorize any keys. I mean, I'm not saying that because of course it's wonderful to memorize keys. But if you ever see anything, you can work out what you need just by going, okay, what note would that be? Okay, but it's going to be sharpened. So it's telling you that all the Fs are sharp.
So then right now, what I put all of my levers down to be an E flat and then raise my Fs?
So you start in C. So you start, so if you think of our C major as being the default no sharps or flats key. So C is always our always our bass when we're doing levers or pedals. So if you get yourself into C, I mean, you can do it other ways if you, once you really know your keys, but I still go back to C quite a lot, to be honest, on the lever harp. So yeah, once you're in C, then you're in the position of no sharps or flats, and then you look at your key signature, and if it's got 2 flats, you look and you know, you can learn a pattern so you know which 2 flats they are, but it doesn't matter if you don't know that pattern, you can read them like we've just talked about. So yes, so now you're in C, you're going to change just the Fs.
Very good. That's good to know. I don't know why I don't already know that.
That's okay. No, I mean, this is the thing about music, and the thing about being taught music is that we get taught in different ways and different moments, and sometimes you can be in a lesson and a teacher can be like, well, I've told you that, and it's like, well, I was in brain frazzle, you were saying finger 3 on whatever note at the time, I didn't notice you say that. You know, we just, our brains have to be ready to accept the information, Gail, so don't ever feel bad about not knowing stuff. I mean, if I allow myself to feel bad about the stuff I should know that I don't, oh my goodness me. I'd never stop. Right, so okay, so you are now, and this is then the confusing thing, you're now in G major, but it doesn't matter if you don't know that because you've got the right key setting. If you wanted to guess it, what's the last note of the piece?
Okay. On the left hand, the left hand's the last note, which is a G.
Okay, there you go. So usually you can second guess the key from what the last note of the piece is as well. So that's just another little hint, little tip.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay then. So let's just do the right hand for a moment. Just play me the first sort of da 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 dum da 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 da. Yeah.
Okay. I missed a note there.
Don't worry,
but
it's fine. Tonight isn't not about perfection. It's just we're just going to expand this. I don't mind. You could play, you know, Twinkle Twinkle. It doesn't matter. But so just go for it and don't worry. It's fine.
Okay. That doesn't quite sound right, but okay.
Yeah,
that sounds better.
Brilliant. So you've got D, G, B, G, B. Sorry about the singing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think underneath I noticed it's got 3-note chords, but can we just, have you got a pencil there as well, Gail?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Could you write G over the top as it, so we're going to turn this into a lead sheet for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Whenever I want to be really sort of create something of my own as well, this is what I will always do. I strip something back to just the melody and the chords, because then you are free then to make it your own and to thrive at your level. Because now I'm going to say to you, what's your favorite chords to play? What would you like to, what's a good shape for you, Gail? What's a chord that you're like, yeah, I can do that, or single note, or 1-5-8, or a fifth? What do you love?
Triads are good, 1s and 5s.
Yeah, okay, well, let's try both ways then. So why don't we try it with a fifth first of all? So you're gonna go D, G, and then an open
fifth. D by itself, and then
D, G together. So you're gonna go right together.
Okay, let me do that. Right.
And then together. Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, so let's just check out your you want the fifth is going to be the G and then the D, isn't it? Yes. So this is the slightly annoying thing about this, is they're overlapping. Your right needs to play that D before the left can have it. Or you put the right up. You could put the right up.
Yeah, let me put it up for our purposes now.
Yes. And I'd love you to now already ignore the music, because your right hand's going D, G, G. Okay, so you're gonna go D, G together. Yeah.
Okay.
D,
okay.
G, G. Brilliant.
I'm not doing that right.
No, that's fine. Your thumb. Let's take your thumb off for a moment so that you're not tempted to play the thumb. So just put D and G on in the right there, and you're gonna go 2, 2, 1, 1 for now. Okay. There are other fingerings that you do. Yes, lovely. So da dum dum. Da dum. Just play that for me a bunch of times.
Okay. What you said, D twice?
Sorry, if I did, I'm sorry. D, G, G. G, G twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry if I said D, yeah. How was that? Did that feel okay?
That felt okay.
Good. Okay, then now let's try it with the triad that you mentioned. Do, D, G, G. Brilliant. Now, Gail, I think you're still looking at the music. If I was there,
I am. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Busted. If I was there, I'd be turning the music over right now. I know this is mean, but anyway, D, G, G, without the music. You do not need the music. You do not need the music.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. D, G, G.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, so we want the chord on the second G. Da, dum, together, right.
So if I look at the music tells me it's D, G, B. So yes.
Oh, okay, then that's not the tune I know. Okay, fine. Play
Okay.
what's written, then that's fine. Well, I don't mind. Okay, yeah, I don't know the tune like that. I was good. Da dum da 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 da.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to
Do whichever you
the
prefer.
D and the G.
Yeah.
So the left hand comes in on the third note, right?
Yes, that's right. So whatever the third note's going to be, whether it's a B or a G.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll turn it over.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Lovely.
So that was a fit.
That's fine.
That was a
Great.
fit.
Yeah. Okay. Now
Okay.
let's try with the triad.
Yep. Okay.
Lovely. And now let's try it. Just because we can. Let's also try it with the 158. Okay.
Okay. 1, 5, 8.
So thumb's going to go on
right?
the G. Yeah. You're when you're on the 8, you're repeating the octave. So back to the G. Yeah. You're perfect.
Yep.
Lovely.
Okay.
By the way, hand position is looking lovely. Nice high thumbs.
Oh.
Now. Very good.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Lovely. Okay, fantastic. So that's already 3 different ways that you could play that. Okay.
Yes.
Let's take this as your piece. This is your piece of music. This da, dum, dum. Okay. So we're now going to expand it in the ways you said. We're going to do an introduction, we're going to do an improvisation, and we're going to do a coda. Okay.
Okay, I wasn't quite mentally prepared for it, but I'm game. Okay.
Okay. Right. Okay. So in Start Harp 2, I think I give you the idea of using the dominant for an introduction, don't I? And then the tonic as an ending in the most simplest form. So if we are in G, we can always find the dominant by counting up 5. So if we find the G and we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going upwards, that takes me to a D, right? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so then the D, that's where the dominant chord is. Now, in its very simplest form, you can play a D, and you can do a glissando, and finish on a D, and you have an introduction. That's like the simplest thing you can do. But again, think about the common pipistrelle bat. You've just played a glissando to a load of people maybe that have never heard the harp up close, and so they're going, "Oh, this is incredible already!" So you've already had a win as well. So let's try the simplest introduction that the harp can offer us. You're going to play the dominant, which was the D. You're going to play some glissandos. You're going to play them in whatever way feels good to you, and you're going to find a top D to finish
on a G or a D.
On a D,
the D.
Yeah, on the dominant D. Yeah.
Dominant.
And then you're going to go back and you're going to do your. Oh, sorry. Lovely, brilliant. Okay. How can we expand that? I think again, if you wanted to, you can go back to the lesson in level 2 on this. But I mean, we do think you could play triads. You know, how would doing D triads up the harp be for you? If you just play D chords, swapping hands going up. So if you find the lowest D
chord or just the D.
Now I'm going to ask you to play the chord now. So if you find the lowest triad, is there one lower than that?
Oh yes.
Oh yes, let's have that one. That's a good bass note. So we're after D, F, A, aren't we? Nice and low there. D, F, and A.
Oh, just triads. Okay.
Right, just triads for now. Then bring your right hand in the octave higher than the left now and prepare that as well.
Okay.
And again, let's do triad. So then we're going to do this. We're going to try and go da da dum dee da dum dee da dum dee da da dum. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, so now you could mix them both up. You could do your D, you could do your glissando, then you could play your arpeggios going up. Okay, so then you've expanded your introduction. What about then if we do something a bit more? What about if we play these 3-note arpeggios more than once? This time I want you just to play them a few times. So just to have a fiddle around with playing your arpeggios more, overlapping them, whatever feels good to you. Sticking to the D, F, and A. So you're sticking to this dominant chord, which you can find in any key that you're playing in by counting up 5 from the top.
5. Okay.
5 is the magic number here, not 3.
So if so I could.
Yeah, absolutely. See, this is what I remember from your homework, is that you're very creative. And that was beautiful. And you know what I loved it? Wow, it's going on. Woohoo! Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Okay, I was blown away by your phrasing. You did this, you did this. It was just beautiful. The phrasing was gorgeous. Okay, so I'm already seeing some of your superpowers, I knew creativity was one of them, but that was beautifully phrased. When you watch this video back, if you watch this video back, watch that and just hear how magical that sounded, because that was awesome.
Okay.
Do that more. Do that thing more. Do more of allowing yourself to phrase in the musical. Okay, brilliant. Okay. So at the moment we're stuck on this 3-note chord, but what could we then do to make this bigger? Well, you know about 7th chords, don't you?
Yes.
So the dominant 7th is even more powerful than the dominant.
It's even more powerful.
Even more powerful than the dominant, yes. So the 7th, it has a very special sound, and the dominant 7th chord is used a lot in music because it's got this. Well, listen to it.
Yeah.
If I play you a C, if I play you this chord instead, that's a 7th. That's a major 7, but the dominant. Whoa! It's a beast, and it definitely says, I'm about to do something, doesn't it? It says, like, here I am, listen to me, I'm about to do something.
Yeah, I hear that in that. So if I were in any key and wanted to find the dominant 7, instead of going up to 5 to the dominant, I just go 7, and that's going to give me?
You still go to the dominant, so you still go to the 5th, and then you play the chord of the dominant like we just did, which was D, but you add the 7th note onto that chord. This is
which is the C, which is the C in this case. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I see. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You find the dominant, and then you add the 7th note to the dominant chord.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Music is a pain because we just use these numbers systems for everything. It's like, but come on, now I'm thinking about 5, and now I'm thinking about 7, and now I'm thinking about the tonic, and so yeah. Anyway, again, racing the spiral learning, but you were absolutely spot on. Sorry, I misunderstood. Let's do this. Let's do D, F, A, C, and then we can put it in the other hand as well. Lovely.
Okay.
Okay, she's gonna go for it. Drum roll.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Okay, where's my finger?
Okay. And then you might find that you want to, you might find that you want to resolve it. So sometimes I'll do the 7th, and then I'll do a full major chord with the tonic put at the top.
At the D. Okay.
On the top.
Okay.
But you can even tease. You can play with this now. You've got this as an idea. Okay, so you can play, tease at the top and come back down. So in its very simplest form, that's an introduction. You can, for anything, happy birthday. We've just done, haven't we? And play your harp out. I think I did.
Now that should be a goal, to play your what did you call it?
The ludicrously ostentatious.
Yes. That's a goal.
I think it's down. I was like, who's going to want to play this? This is ridiculous. Anyway, but yes, it's hilariously, ridiculously ludicrous. I love it. Anyway, that could be a goal, of course. But obviously you endlessly get asked to play happy birthday when you're doing events and stuff, and I will often just kind of do a dominant seventh, happy birthday, you know, and then sing.
Right.
Everyone will come in.
Right.
It just goes, it's about to happen. Are you ready? Let's go. Although if you do a happy birthday to you, everybody knows when to come in. So it's probably better. But I like doing a floaty.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so that's a trick. And then in its simplest form, if we're going to end a piece, do you remember a minute ago we looked at the music and I said, what note does it end on? Because you can usually guess the key.
Yes.
Ended on a G. That's the tonic note. That's the one, isn't it, in the row of notes? So the tonic. So if you want to put a coda on anything, in the shortest form, you can make a coda out of just using the tonic chord, because it's going to sound finished then. Of course, you can do 100 other things. This is just like, I want to show you tonight how that you could literally walk away doing this straight away. So if you did okay, we haven't kind of got to the end here, but we could then do a G. So we could do a maybe you know, a G. So any G. So you did your da dum dum, and then we're gonna go. Now we finished our piece. I'm gonna play some G chords. Just see if you can find me some GBD chords. So do that,
Yep.
da da da, and then do some G's.
Yep.
Amazing.
Wow, I probably have to go up here.
That's fine, don't worry.
Let me go. No, I'll go down lower.
Yep. Lovely, brilliant. And I mean, and I'm sure you know that as a trick, but you know, if you wanted to make a coda out of it, there's I definitely nicked this from a piece of music that I learned at some point, but you know, there's this really ostentatious ending, and it's just going down these arpeggios on the G. And it's all
your fingers are way faster than mine.
Okay, but okay then, so is this boring? I don't think it is. It's just different. Okay, so I played it slower, but what I'm trying to say is that you can find your G chord, and then you can do anything, any of the warm-ups, you know, anything where you've learned to do, you know, rolled chord practice. You know, you could be rolling them across the harp, and it will sound pretty, you know, and it will add to Amazing Grace. So now you can do your introduction on the dominants. You can play your melody without having to worry about what the other person's written on that sheet music. You know,
right.
Work out what the chord is, write the G, and then turn it into a lead sheet if you want to. And of course, you may want to learn it. That's fine. But this idea of being able to strip something back and make it instantly usable is just. I love that. Thinking I could do a concert, easily in 3 months' time. If I can get you to go away and think, yeah, I could do a concert with 5 or 6 pieces from my friends in 3 months' time easily, then my work here is done. So anyway, so we've got the beginning and the okay. So now, what about improvising? Okay, so Amazing Grace, da da da. Usually da 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 da. So maybe, you know, just I'm going to take the absolute simplest thing I can think of here. What about we take the G and then the C chord, and we're going to make them a chord loop. G chord, yeah. And if you pop them into your left, Gail, so that your left is the charge of the harmony. So you can do G chord, C chord. So in your own time, just play me a G chord and then a C chord in whatever's really comfortable for you right now, that you can thrive at, that you're not going to have to think about too much. Yep. Okay. Lovely. And then go back.
And then go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So go round the loop. Brilliant. And let's relax it into a nice, I don't know how you're imagining your Amazing Grace, but you know, you could still have a slow improv, even if you're going to play it quite fast. It's a bit, you know, but anyway, so think 1, 2, 3, 1, just for now. Let's keep it nice and steady. Really chill out on it. Okay. So nice and slow.
I missed a note there.
Don't worry. Oh, nice block chord. I like that. 2, 3. 2, 3. Lovely. Okay, so if you wanted to instantly improvise on any tune, you can take a chord, steal a chord loop from the melody, from the tune. So you know, you might choose to do the whole thing, but sometimes that's a bit overwhelming. So choose 2 chords that are nice, and then you know, you can. One of the things that I do, I don't feel like I've ever really been trained to improvise. So I always feel like there are all these textbooks on how to improvise, and I just say, this is what I do, and it kind of works. So this is what I do, and it's one of the ideas that I do that kind of works. If you've got da da dum, you could steal the rhythm. So you could think ta ta tum, or what's that going to be? A coffee tea. So you could do the chord, and then coffee tea, coffee tea, coffee tea, coffee tea, and then when you then come back to amazing grace, then it's going to feel like it fits the tune, because you've taken something, a feature from the tune. So I often either nick steal a rhythm, or I might feel, you know, okay, if we were going to do what did we were doing da dum da 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 dum, yeah, okay, so what about you did that, what does it sound like with the C chord? Oh, it's nice. So I'm taking this 3-note thing that you've just shown me, but I'm allowing it, first of all, I just let it air on its own, didn't I, with the 2 chords?
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, where's this going to take me? Let's try, what's it like if I do 1 higher? Oh, goes okay. What about if I go 1 lower? And also to give yourself space so that you, when, you know, keeping it simple to start with so that you can grow into this, because you've got the 3 months out version, you've got the 2 years out, you've got the 6 year out, you got on your 10 year out version. You know, you've got 10 years to make this fancy, but we just want to make it beautiful and enjoyable for you right now, because then you can communicate you through what you're doing, can't you? And you can still be working on all the fancy stuff as you're going. So let's try this. Let's try the G chord playing a thing, C chord playing a thing, and maybe you can tell me first, do you want to nick a little bit of the melody, or do you want to nick the rhythm? What do you reckon?
Melodies here, right?
Yeah, melody, yes. Melody, harmony, bass.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe it's easier up here. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. So do you want to take the rhythm? Do you want to take that to ta tum tea, the coffee tea rhythm? Or do you want to, yeah?
The coffee.
Yeah. So you're going to do
That's
chord.
good enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you're going to do the chord, coffee tea, coffee tea, coffee tea. Just see if you can find, it doesn't matter. And if the safe notes are always going to be the notes that coincide with the chord. So if you want to definitely sound good with a G chord, if you play notes from G, B, and D, it's going to sound, it's going to easily sound good. But to be really creative, then you want to move away from those. But with time, but it's lovely. I always think of these as like the safe notes that I can use, and then any twiddles that come in between, I can be like, oh, okay, good. I didn't use just the safe notes, but I know that they're there. So you could start just by using the safe notes. So
that's a good tip, you know, staying with safe notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your ear will guide you then, because if you play the safe notes, then you kind of relax, I think, or personally I relax and think, okay, so I'm not going to sound terrible. But my ear kind of wants to hear this note, and then you start sneaking them in, but you've kind of relaxed yourself into feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, I'm going. Okay.
Sorry, Gail.
Am I playing just the chord, or what am I doing?
It doesn't matter. You're improvising, Gail. This is your story. Your show. You can do whatever the heck you like. Lovely. And then
I don't know.
No, it's great. And then move to the C chord.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
C chord.
And now your safe notes are C, E, G.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay. Does that feel like a starting point that you could get behind?
Yes.
Okay. I know it's very simple, and I know you can do loads more than this, but you've got all of the pieces I've given you to do harder things when you want to. But this is about you kind of taking ownership of what you're doing. So could you perform to me now, amazing voice, with an introduction, the melody, the improvisation, the melody, and then the coda. So let me just recap. We did something on the dominant. So we did we're in G, aren't we? So we did the D thing. You can do whatever you like on the D thing. It might be glissandos, it might be triads, it might be the seventh. And then we did, so you could do that, and then you could go into improvisation, G chord, C chord, whatever you're going to do there. And then I'd like to hear the tune one more time. And then I'd like to hear your finishing, whatever you're going to do at the end on the G for your ending / coda, because the, is it just a chord at the end or a coda? It depends on how wild you go.
Uh-oh.
Do you want me to talk you through it as you go, or do you want to just go for it and wing it?
I'll try it.
Okay.
I'll try to wing it.
Yeah,
I'll try to wing
I
it.
love this. That's perfect.
Okay. Oh,
Let me turn this over.
Yeah, don't look at the music. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Okay. Okay, I guess I can do this.
Yeah, this is good. It's amazing. Yeah, great. And then you can do the tune again. You did your improv. That's perfect.
Okay, and then I do, right, I can do the tune again.
Yeah, so then you're going to remind me that you were playing Amazing Grace. Beautiful.
And then if I were going to, then I have to do it my coda. My coda maybe I'll do the seventh. Yeah, I think I'll do, let me think. My seventh is going to be,
Well, the way we did it a minute ago was we did the tonic.
I don't think this is right, but yes, we did. So we did G. Started with G, right? It was a G.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could put the G7 to give us.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it will give you. It's a very soft thing, and you probably will have to finish it on a root chord, without the seventh. But it would be a lovely way of kind of making a dreamscape to finish, a dreamy coda, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Okay, well,
I think the full chord
and not the seven.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think if you were going to go 7 of the G anyway, I mean, and you can experiment with this, that you would then do like da, dum, dum, da, dum, dum. You could do it all with sevens, the tune. Oh, wrong note. Oh, I was about to I love this, and I ruined it. But you get the idea. With those sevenths, you change the color of it, and then you have a dreamy seventh coda after that, or whatever, or and then you might then be like, but we also
then start. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so I mean, almost always anything can work, and persevere with something that you don't like for a little while, and just check it wasn't something awesome that you were going to push past. Because you hear so many people saying, out of mistakes is where we get our creativity.
Yes.
When you get something wrong is often where you go, whoa, I love that. And if we allow ourselves to actually hear and stop for a moment rather than just being grumpy with ourselves that we didn't like it.
Right.
So, anyway, let's finish it, because I just want you to do this G at the end now. So let's do a G to finish, and then you can gliss even if you want to down to your G. Add some drama, whatever you want to do.
Okay, let's see how it goes with my G. Okay.
I would love to do a roll chord, but mine are not fast.
Lovely. Bravo! That was a wonderful performance with an introduction, with the tune, with an improvisation, with a tune again, and with a coda.
You're
And
funny.
so much music, so much music is written like that. So much, and like, Beethoven symphonies, they have an introduction, they have a theme, they have a second theme, they modulate a bit, he plays about with them, and they come back and do the tune again, and then has an ending. I mean, you just played me some Beethoven arrangement, if but that, so it's just that your 3 months time version of you being able to play a concert is totally beautiful and unique and new and wonderful, and then your 10-year one just might have a few more notes in. So I'm hoping that, like, I've now convinced you that it's possible for you to thrive right now, because you could totally do that in probably 3 weeks. Do you not think that you could learn a tune and do it like that? And that would be your own arrangement. And then, as your 10-year vision and plan sort of pans out in front of you, you're going to be maybe adding in more notes. But if you don't, you're just going to become even more proficient. Well, what you'll find is, that if you did take the jump of actually getting a file together, having some things that you practice performing, like we talked about, and that you then also air as a performance. That if you then, did it maybe with a group, sometimes you play it, maybe each of you plays a solo. If you go and play out somewhere, as well as playing with the group, whatever, then what happens is that things creep in. Because when it becomes easy to do the thing you're doing, we kind of just think, oh, well, what about,
let me try this, let me try something new, right?
And so if you allow yourself to be really actually, thriving as you are playing your tunes from your play folder, then you will find that you just start, that it creeps in and happens without you noticing as well over time. So from the conversation we've had, the biggest thing that I think that I would love to, if we were chatting again in a month's time, I'd just love to know that you've got like 2 or 3 tunes in a little folder, a lovely file that you like the look of, that some lovely stationery that you really enjoy, and you write on the front of it, Gail's happy play file, or Gail's performing folder, or something like that, and that you're then getting it out, a couple of times or 3 times a week, or at the end of every time you play if you can. But we know that we can set ourselves up for a fall on practice. We just have to squeeze things in when we can manage it. But then I think that that's going to help towards your goal more than anything else, and I mean, I obviously massively believe in what I'm teaching in the courses, I really do, but it's still making us strive rather than thrive a lot of the time, and that's what this final course is that I'm doing with the harp school. In my head then it's kind of complete, the courses that I've done for now is this one where we're going to perform to each other. It's definitely the thing that I have lacked nurturing in people, and I've heard it time. It's like, you bombard us with information, Shelley, and I never actually learned to just sit down and play a piece. So the next 6-week course that we do in February, the idea is you're going to come with a piece at the beginning. We're going to talk about how we're going to break it down, how we're going to practice it. We're going to play little bits to each other over the course, and then we're going to perform at the end that piece. So it's sort of perfectly timed really after this conversation, I think, because it's in about 4 or 5 weeks time. It's in about a month, I think, from now. Have a piece in mind that you want to do it, and then I have this idea that I'd love that I'm trying to reshuffle the harp school a bit, and I'm in very early stages of working out how, but I would love that course to run constantly, because I just think then anybody, every 6 weeks you can be like, right, I'm doing my course with this harpist and this harpist, but I'm going to learn a tune as well at the same time, so I drop
that would be really cool.
And then that support group that we can not lack, but I mean, it can feel like you are the only person getting stuck or not doing these things, or not knowing that an F sharp is on the top line of the, that's an F sharp. You can feel like it's just you, and it's not just you. It's like, it's all of us. It's like that music is such a huge subject. It's just massive. We can't know all of it, and we can't possibly know all the technique instantly. It just doesn't work like that. So I think it's really comforting, this, like, that group, being in the group, isn't it, and seeing everybody and everyone going, yeah, my 4th finger doesn't want to bend either, or yes, I have trouble memorizing that, or or that somebody else, with so many students would, I can't remember which homework it was. Was it Guantanamera you did for me? Something you did for me, and I remember you were really creative with all your arranging. And I remember other harp students in the in the class that time would have just been like, Oh my goodness me, I wish I could improvise and be creative like that. You know, I'm glued to knowing, you know, playing by ear, and that's all I can do. So I also think it helps us feel stronger because it helps you realize your superpowers. And you know,
Okay.
just hearing you play a little bit again tonight's reminded me that it's creativity and phrasing, I think, are definitely two of your superpowers. I'm sure you have many more, but those are two. Those are two that
Take
jump out.
those. I don't
And
know. I don't know about many more, but I'll take those.
and I think your technique's changed a lot since you last let me see you play.
Okay. Oh, an interesting choice of words
Sorry,
there.
I didn't mean it like that. That's
I love you. It's
sorry, since I
fine.
last heard you play, Gail. I'm sorry. Oh dear, I'm really tired. You have to forgive me.
No, this is great. You're great. No worries.
Don't read too much into that comment.
No,
But you
not
know,
at all.
you I think you said yourself you hadn't managed to come to some of the live sessions, and I would love to hear more homework from you. So if you
Yeah.
can manage it, you know, remember that,
Yes.
like, it's showing up and doing it. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. In fact, there's no point in it being perfect. If you came along and played perfectly to me, then you may as well be teaching the course. You know, the whole point is that you come along and you go, okay, well, I've got really stuck on this, and I buzz here, or I can't, this shape's awkward, or my finger four doesn't want to move. Then I can
Yeah.
help you over that hurdle. It's not about you kind of going, here I am doing this, is it? So even if you haven't
Right.
prepared at all, you know, sometimes I have people come that haven't prepared at all, and I don't even really mind that too much. I just kind of want to open the conversation so that I can help you to the
Okay.
next
I'll
moment.
do better. I will
No,
do
no,
better.
no, you're doing brilliantly. You, that's what I'm trying to say is your technique has definitely come on loads. You look like you're much,
Okay.
your fingers are down, your thumbs were up. You know, and you know the chords, don't you? You know how to find your way
Yeah.
around beautifully. So you, and
Yeah.
you know, look, I didn't know what, you know, asking people to do arpeggios up and down the harp, you never know whether they're going to be able to do that. You know, lots of people can do one lot, but moving is really hard. But you can, that's another superpower that other
Okay.
harpists would long for. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it helps you see your superpowers as well. I'm really sorry I've kept you late now. So just to
Oh,
say,
I've kept you. Are you kidding? I've kept you. It's your bedtime.
I'm
You're
terrible.
5 hours ahead of me. It's your bedtime.
It's fine. Oh well, nearly. It's. I'm sure it's probably hanging out washing time or something. But I know what you mean.
So appreciate doing this.
Great. I hope this has been useful, and I love.
Oh,
I want to see those. Well, I don't want to see them, but I want to. I want to. For me, I want you to do those diagrams, those two that we talked about, because I just think that's going to really help you see your vision, like just out in front of you. And Strings of Passion is going to be awesome for you right now. And I think this 6-week course where you're going to end up performing, I think, it's just like perfectly builds on what we've just talked about as well. So
this is awesome, Shelley. Thank you so very much. Very inspiring. Thank you.
I'm so happy. I shall stop the recording then there and leave you in peace.